Hello learners, in this part we are going to consider the application of gums as food additives. After considering health benefits, now we are going to consider the application of gums as food additives. Being strongly hydrophilic in nature, gums can furnish many positive functional characteristics and they can impart important organoleptic and rheological features to various foods. Some of these properties include creamy and soft texture, consistency, rheological features, increased product stability and prevention of synersis. Synersis is leaking of water from the gels during storage. Gums have unique properties that add desirable texture and they improve shelf life of the processed foods. They can be used as adhesives, as binding agents, as crystal inhibitors, as clarifying agents, encapsulating agents, flocculating agents, swelling agents, foam stabilizers, emulsion stabilizers, anti-caking agents, and in various ways. Using gums in powder form increases the surface area and the water absorption is increased far more. Natural gum is tasteless and odorless, hence it can be part of any food preparation. Nowadays, gums as an additives are part of our routine food supplies. Many of the processed foods are likely to contain these gums as additives. Gum is commonly used in bakery items, in beauty products, in fizzy drinks, in ice creams, cheese and many more products. Most commonly used gums are xanthan from microbial source, guar gum from plant source and carrageenan also from the algal source. They are common additives used in food, but alginic acid and its salts as sodium alginate or potassium alginate are also used in certain products. Guar gum forms a colloidal solution which is highly viscous in nature. Hence, it is used by food manufacturers for thickening, gelling, emulsifying and stabilizing properties. Guar gum is basically used for its water binding nature in salad dressings, mayonnaise, sauces and medicines, baked goods and even in pet foods. Gelan gum is a specific type of gum which is specially used as a base in chewing gum in the confectionery products. Let us take a look at the regulatory status of gums as food additives. Since the gums are natural products and they come from vegetable and natural sources, they belong to the category generally recognized as safe, GRAS, and their use in the food for occasional or little consumption by healthy persons with normal gut function is not contraindicated, and combined compendium of food additive specifications. There are numerous regulatory bodies which includes Food and Drug Administration, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, Joint Food and Agricultural Organization of United Nations, World Health Organization Expert Committee on Food Additives, which suggest that limited use of gums in various processed foods should be done as per good manufacturing practices. This is called as GMP, that is in the concentration which is required for your desired effect. At the same time, it is inappropriate to use gums in large quantities as a supplement or as a source of nutrition. Some of the commonly used gums that are permitted in processed foods are listed below as follows. Guar gum E412 is obtained from guar beans. Locust bean gum E410 is obtained from the seeds of carob tree. Beta glucan, it is not given any number, it is obtained from oat or barley bran. Glucomannan is E425 from konjac plant. Tara gum E417 is obtained from the seeds of tara tree. Chicle gum, an older base for the chewing gum, is from chicle tree. Damar gum is from the sap of Dipterocarpaceae tree. Mastic gum is a chewing gum of ancient Greece, and this was obtained from mastic tree. Similarly, spruce gum, which is a chewing gum used by American Indians, that was obtained from spruce tree. But these are all traditional gums, and therefore they have not been identified as commercial food additives. Isabgol is obtained from psyllium seed husk, and the plant is Plantago plant. The agar is E406, it is obtained from brown alga. Alginic acid is E400, obtained from red alga. Similarly, the sodium alginate is the salt of alginic acid, the same source. Carrageenan is another variety of red alga, and the number is E407. Gelan gum is obtained from bacteria, number is E418. Xanthan, also obtained from bacteria, is E415. Then we come to the plant sources. Gum arabic, the exudate E414 is obtained from the sap of acacia tree. Similarly, gum tragacanth is also a sap from astragalus shrubs, and the number is E413. Karaya gum E416 is obtained as a sap from sterculia tree, and gum ghatti is again another variety of astragalus shrub. Now, after knowing the source and their numbers, let us know about the actual application of gums in different food products and their maximum permissible limits. That means the regulatory aspects of the gums. Gum is used in different food products for different properties, and it is allowed in some food products, it is not allowed in certain food products. So, there is a list which is published by Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, where the permitted food additives are mentioned and enlisted. Ice cream uses gums for slower meltdown, dry body, and it prevents the formation of large sugar crystals. The limit is 10 grams per kg. In cheese, gums are incorporated for better sliceability, better retention of moisture, and no synersis. The permitted limit is 2 grams per kg. In yogurt and curd, it gives a smoother texture and it avoids the separation of liquid. The permitted limit is 1.5 grams per kg. In various bakery items like bread and cakes, it improves the texture, it prevents moisture loss during storage, and permitted limit is 5 grams per kg. In cake mixes, that is the ready mixes which are used for cake preparation, the gums reduce mixing time, they have better moisture retention, and the cake does not crumble, and it allows easy application of icing. The permitted level is 5 grams per kg. In beverages, it improves the clouding. A slightly transparent but slightly opaque structure is called as clouding. So, this cloud is stabilized as suspended particles and gives a good mouth feel, and it is permitted as 0.15%. In instant dry mixes like idli mix, dosa mix, or other ready mixes, it is used as thickening and texturizing agent. The maximum limit is 5 grams per kg of body weight, 5 grams per kg of the material. In processed fruit and vegetable products, it stabilizes suspended particulate matter and it gives a good mouthfeel. The levels are permitted to 0.15 to about 1% in different types of fruit products. In meat products and in marine products, again it improves bite properties and mouthfeel, especially in frozen products, and the levels permitted are 2.5 to 20 milligrams per kg of the product. Similarly, chewing gum the Gelan gum is permitted to the level of 2%. So, learners, let us conclude the module. We have considered several aspects of the topic, and what we have known is the usage of natural gums for its functional properties has been there since ancient times in Asia and Middle Eastern nations. Their use and the wisdom of its perceived functional benefits have been passed down from generations to generations. However, there was a huge research gap due to the lack of empirical data. But more scientific studies and research is being carried out, yet still more is needed to authenticate the potential healing effects and functionality of the natural dietary gums in managing certain health conditions. However, natural gums can provide appreciable amount of soluble fiber which is required to keep us healthy. Non-nutritional and functional benefit of dietary gum should not be obtained by overconsumption of it. Gums should always be consumed with plenty of fluids and should not be used as fiber replacers, or they should not be used as a source of nutrition. Thank you.